If you think you can't engage the audience with your speech in a virtual setting, learn how Mike Carr does the magic.
We are going to watch the speech from the latest world champion together and pick up the public speaking techniques. Let's go.
I was spellbound as I watched the sheriff who had just been shot slide back open that heavy metal door, stagger forward a couple of steps, look deep into the camera and say, I before E except after C.
He opens with an interesting story to capture our attention and trigger the curiosity to continue listening to him. My friends, always start your speech with an attention getter.
Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I was in the 6th grade in Mrs. Montgomery's class watching an educational video where a sheriff was teaching us about writing while a bad guy named Bad English was shooting at him. It was on a film projector because we were technology challenged in my school. And as I watched that film, all of a sudden something started looking strange. The film slowed down, and when it picked back up, it made a sound like tick, 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 and it looked like it was blinking. Then the sheriff was talking to us from the side of the screen. Blinking started again with a loud noise. Ooh, everything went blank.
Mike skillfully turned the seemingly disadvantageous screen frame to his own advantage. He waves his hand rapidly in front of camera to mimic the blinking of the projection. This is something that we can't illustrate in a physical speech. His perfect execution engages us even virtually. So let's think out of the box to present on screen creatively.
I ran to the front and I turned off the projector. I opened it up. Something smelled like it was burning. Mrs. Montgomery, I said, can I try to fix this? After school, she said. An hour after the final bell rang, I had disassembled the entire projector all over the floor. I was beginning to put it back together when the librarian came strolling through. What are you doing? She almost screamed at me. Who told you you could do this? I did, said Mrs. Montgomery. The librarian, though, zeroed in on me. This is school property, and it better work when you get it all back together again. If it doesn't work, your parents are going to have to pay for that. Now, my parents did not have a lot of money. If I went home and told them they had to replace a projector at school, I would have been better off in the hands of that bad guy, Bad English.
Dialogue is a powerful technique to have vocal variety and make a story come alive. Stage anchoring helps us to differentiate the characters. Mike himself is on your right, the teacher is in the middle, and the librarian is on your left. Remember to use stage anchoring to deliver different key points or create zero confusion during dialogue.
And so, with focused energy, I started putting the projector back together. After 2 hours, it was whole. And Mrs. Montgomery said, let's try it. I reached up and I flipped the on switch. And there, out in front of us, projected onto the screen in all of its glory, was nothing. Nothing. The projector was dead.
Next, twist. He showed us one direction but brought us to the opposite. The contrast makes the twist interesting. And you can use twist to generate humor too.
Mrs. Montgomery put her arm around me and she said, it's okay that you took the risk to try to fix it. The victory is not in the result. The victory is in the try.
Here comes the core message in a beautifully constructed anchor phrase. Fantastic anchor phrase help the audience to remember our message. Examples from the other world champions like Dhananjaya, I see something in you. And reach out by precision. So use beautiful language to make your message stick.
But I still had to tell my parents. When I got home, I snuck in and I thought, if I just hide in my closet, they'll forget I exist. But then I heard from the kitchen, Mike, come in. I walked in and I said, Mom and Dad, there's something I have to tell you. I love you. And I am scared of sheriffs. I don't know. I ran to my room. I choked. I couldn't think of anything to say. I thought I'll tell them tomorrow. I crawled on my bed and I looked up at the ceiling and I thought, how do I get to Norway? Now, I know there are people from Norway in the audience, and can I just tell you, I don't know why Norway was my only safe haven on this planet at that point. Maybe I thought that Norway had made a deal with the UN, that they would not let crazy librarians come into their country, but at that night, I drifted off to a very restless sleep, dreaming of swimming to Norway.
He used natural vocal variety and body language to act out the story. It's authentic, lively, and enjoyable. We can imagine what he had gone through and feel his emotions. That's the power of storytelling. Remember to always make our stories come alive with our voice and body.
I was awakened with a jolt when my alarm went off the next morning. As I got ready for the day, I was sick to my stomach. When I got to school, I knew my time was up. I slunk to the library to find Mrs. Landon sitting there reading her newspaper. She was drinking out of this coffee mug. That's concerning.
The mug is a visual aid that supplements his content. The librarian is like the fairy monster on the mug. Meaningful props can leave a strong impression to our audience and help them to remember our speeches. Just like another world champion, Darren Tay, used his underwear, and Dhananjaya used a rose.
I approached her and I told her the final fate of her projector. She slowly started looking up at me. Her lips started curling. Then she leaned forward and said, "Fine." What just happened? I'm still alive. I could not believe it.
Through his story, he got us into his world of emotions, connect intimately with us, and give us a ride of emotion roller coaster. He brought us down emotionally with his anxiety, then pushed us up with his joy of relief. The strong emotional contrast and connection make a story impactful.
My failure had not killed me. And yours will not kill you. What was it that Mrs. Montgomery said? The victory is not in the result. The victory is in the try.
He seamlessly brought us to his core message after the story. The same anchor phrase. Message is on point and crystal clear. This is how we can bring out our message from a story. And trust me, it will stick.
Ever since then, I have walked through life with a little Librarian Landon sitting on this shoulder and a Mrs. Montgomery sitting on this shoulder. When I tried and gave my very first speech, which was a train wreck, Mrs. Landon told me, "You should never try that again." But Mrs. Montgomery reminded me that the failure had taught me lessons that could be a springboard to future success. And she was right. But her words ring even more true for you. And let me tell you why I know this. For years, Toastmasters has been the place where leaders are made. You are here in some way to increase your leadership skill. And this world desperately needs leaders who will create fertile soil for innovation to grow. Toastmasters is a great example. When COVID hit this year, they could have said, "No, we're just going to cancel the contest. We'll cancel the convention and we'll pick it up again next year." But instead, they decided to try something new, this virtual experience. And yes, there have been glitches, but that's what innovation is like. Glitches happen. And the lessons that they have learned take us miles beyond those organizations that just canceled.
An amazing way to engage our audience is make our content relatable. He relates his message to the audience, organizers, and judges who are also Toastmasters. He used "victory is in the try" to applaud Toastmasters International's attempt to organize a virtual convention. Impressive, isn't it? No wonder judges will vote him. Mike makes his speech so relatable.
If you want to lead people to fix persistent problems, someday, somewhere, somebody is going to have to try something new, and you as the leader have the opportunity to encourage that effort that might fail, for a chance to find the future. The victory is in the try. Be a Montgomery leader. Encourage risk. Try new things. The victory is not in the result, my friends. The victory is in the try. Contest chair.
As an inspiring speech, not only the message and story matter, we want our audience to take action as well. After listening to Mike, do you feel like trying something new? If so, he made it. Include a call to action in your speech to ask the audience not just listen, but to take actual actions. Thank you, Mike, for the wonderful speech, message, and delivery. He deserves the win. And I also deserve to ask you to click here to subscribe and click here for more videos. Guarantee here, helping you to be an effective communicator. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.